Hi, welcome to Wednesday. And boy, it is a dark, stormy day. Good day to talk about stuff going on with ghosts. I'm going to read two letters today that I did work for these people a long time. Well, no, one not so long ago, the other one very long. And they wrote to tell me how helping them changed what was going on in their lives, which I thought was pretty interesting. First one is, hi Marianne, I know you see so many people, but I hope the enclosed story is somewhat familiar to you. You helped me more than you'll ever know. I've been loving your YouTube chats when I have time to log in, and the Wednesday evening videos. I've gained so much from you. You have my permission to use my story if you choose. I just wanted to thank you again for all you do. Okay, so here's the letter. Hi Marianne, I thought I'd document my story in case you would like it for your Wednesday YouTube. First of all, thank you so much for the amazing help you were to me and my husband, now deceased, and then later my mom in her apartment. I'm so grateful to you for all the good you do in the world for so many. I lived in an older house in Ohio, outside of Cleveland, and there were things that occurred in the home, especially after my husband and I started remodeling it, which is normal. I would be woken up by smells of cooking in the middle of the night, a door rattling in its frame, our dog growling in the kitchen in the middle of the night, looking all around. So years later, when my husband became very ill, I had become familiar with your work and decided that maybe there was something in our house impacting him. I came to see you talk at the airport Holiday Inn, and I was identified in the audience of probably 65 people as having a ghost attached to me. The ghost also told you to tell me that Pete's okay. Pete is my father that had passed a few years before. He had gone to the light, but the ghost wanted me to know that. The ghost knew my phone number, the street I used to live on, and the year I got married. You said if I wanted, I should call you about this. I went home that night and told my husband I was going to ask you to come out to our house in hopes it could help us. Early the next morning, my husband had a heart attack. The date was May 2nd, 2015. That date will be significant later. All of this occurred around a full moon. I left you a message that night, and you and Ted came to our house on June 9th. We had 3 ghosts in our house. One attached to me and 2 to my husband, and one of those 2 was not very nice. And you said he had really been working on my husband. When you first walked in our home, you said the ghost attached to me told you that my husband's mother and grandmother were always around him. They passed long before I met my husband, and I couldn't think of his grandmother's last name until you said it. That blew me out of the water. You told me the woman's name attached to me, Nettie, that she was protective of me and didn't like any of the men, living or dead, around me. Didn't even like the dog, but liked me. Oh, and her husband died the year I was born. She attached herself to me at my previous home when I got married in 1993. She had used to live down the street from me. Came with us to our new house. She would not go into the light with the other 2 male ghosts and wanted her own light. Before she went, she told you she wished her daughter had been like me. That really touched my heart. You graciously complied and created her own white light. The second male ghost attached to my husband when he was in the hospital. He was murdered in a bar fight, and he was taken to the same hospital when he died. All details of his death, address, wife's name, etc. I verified online afterwards. He said he stayed because he wanted the person responsible caught. You told me, he said, he attached to my husband because he was a union worker like my husband, and they shared the same birthday, February 8th. He went quietly into the light, and by the way, according to news articles I found afterwards, his murderer was caught and did time in prison for the crime. Well, ghost number 3 was not a nice person. He told you he committed suicide and gave me the finger. Get this, he died May 2nd, decades earlier, but the same date as my husband's attack a month ago. So that's when I knew he was really affecting him negatively. He was the only one that appeared on the film. It's somewhat hard to see, and I will show you. It came out better on a photo CD, but I can see him standing exactly where you said he was in my house. Even more interesting, you told me his name and where he lived, his wife, etc. So in doing research after the fact, confirming, of course, all you told me, it turns out that he did lie to you about his death for an obvious reason. His son had killed him. His son had been cleared of all charges, so this ghost must have been really negative all of his life. When his son eventually died, there was no mention of him in the obit. His son was a Hell's Angel, and so was his grandson. There was an arrest of each of his grandsons for beating a man very badly, and the mugshot of him strongly resembled the person I caught in my photo, the full jawline and face, etc. My house was protected by quincies, the energy in the home calmed. My husband did pass a year later, but I am eternally grateful to you for what you did for us. When I moved to my new condo, you ensured it was clear before I put up the seeds again. When my mother had strange things occurring in her apartment, you told me when it was clear, I put up seeds and everything stopped, except the occasional pounding on the door in the middle of the night, upset they couldn't get in any longer because of the seeds. Today she is in a nursing home with quincies strategically placed to protect her. It feels good putting this story on paper whether you use it or not. My husband Jimmy has been gone 5 years now, but I will never stop being grateful for the peace and comfort you provided. You know, it's very strange. I guess with computers, when I leave a house now, that must be what everybody does. They look to see if they can find who their ghost was, which is fine. I guess, I mean, I've talked to this gal a couple of times, and I know that, you know, she was very happy she was able to find these people, even though she knew that I was doing what I said I was doing. So it was, thanks for the letter. I will show you the picture she sent me. I can see it, but I don't know if you are going to be able to see it or not. My finger is over his face. Let me see if I get there. No, you're not going to be able to see, but you can actually see his eyes, his nose, his chin, his shoulders. And all I did was I told her where he was standing, and she had a disposable camera, and she took the picture, and that came out. The other two, I told her to, and that didn't work. She didn't get anything from those two. Okay. This one is, and that gal's name was Jules. I got this one from a lady named Charlotte. I think that's her name. Yes. Okay. Hi, Marianne. I'm sure you don't remember me. You see so many and go to so many houses. It was February in Cuyahoga County. You lived in Wayne County at the time. That was a while ago. My father died and we needed your help. He had so much hidden deeds, wills, money, bank books, jewelry. Mom begged him after his first heart attack to tell her, or at least me, his only child. But no, he was stubborn. We needed you at the cemetery. That was the only place that we thought you could talk to him at. You called that morning and said there was supposed to be a snowstorm moving in by mid afternoon, and that you had a 3-month-old foster baby that was coming with you. You were worried about getting back to Worcester. I did beg and cry to please come. By this time, Mom was in hospice. She was so worried she wanted all this taken care of before she died. You came and brought the baby with you. I always took the kids with me when I went someplace. At the cemetery, my father told you to go to his house and he would show you where everything was. And he only wanted me and my son there. You tried talking me into telling you at the cemetery because of the weather, but no, he was so pig-headed. You kept an eye out on the weather. Dad's house was only 10 minutes from the cemetery, so you again graciously accepted to come. We went there with my 16-year-old son. My husband and daughter went to the restaurant for the luncheon. Dad was there and he started telling you where everything was at. He told you to tell me what properties to sell, 4 of them, which ones to keep, and what had to be done with the houses I was keeping. He warned me to watch out for the insurance guy. He was always trying to insure everything for more than it actually was. Don't let him snooker you. Everything was there. Things I thought I should sell, he told me to keep. Things that I thought I should keep, he told me to get rid of. I do remember this house. This guy hid stuff in the weirdest places. And it was unbelievable. The only thing he had that no one knew about was a 1965, fully loaded, completely restored Mustang in mint condition. Nobody knew about that car, not even my mother. And he asked me not to sell it. But after my son graduated from college, he could have it. Nothing for my daughter. In his world, men were the important ones, not the women. When you told me that, my son was grinning from ear to ear. But after he heard he had to graduate from college first, he was really angry. He didn't want to go to college. He wanted to go to a trade school to be an electrician. You got all of the information and paperwork. He had things in rafters, under floorboards, in the attic, in the garage, in the storage shed out in the backyard, in a flower container out on the patio. And I actually remember this. It was like going on a scavenger hunt trying to find this stuff. You said it was probably a good idea that you came to the house, even with instructions. I probably would not have been able to find everything. Here it is, over 50 years. I'm an old lady now, but I thought you would like to hear the end of the story. My son did go to college and is an electrical engineer, semi-retired, and he still has the Mustang. Cool. He is married, and my daughter they are now grandparents. Mom died in peace, knowing that everything had been taken care of. I'm in a wonderful nursing home and have, oh, I should get it right, a retirement community. You made my father and mother worry-free for me. Yes, I know you don't use electronic devices. I do. I still don't. But I watch you when you're on TV or listen to you on radio. I watch your 10 a.m. Wednesday show. I love it, and your 5:30 YouTube is wonderful. I've even got some of the folks watching with me here at the home. And that's why I'm writing this also. The one lady here doesn't believe I know you or you help me because she never heard it on YouTube. So if you do read this on YouTube, maybe Lily will not be so contrary. And if you don't use it, at least you know how much of a difference you made in help. Sincerely, an old fan, Charlotte. P.S. You made it home before the storm. And Lily, I do know Charlotte, and I do remember her story. And thanks for filling me in, Charlotte. I always figure if nobody calls me, everything's okay. But it's nice to know how much okay it is. So this is, like I said, this is from amazing. I was surprised to get these letters. Okay, we will do this again next Wednesday. Have a good week. Thanks. Bye-bye.